You are here for the ghost hunt. Follow me.
Kinda.
Welcome to the ghost hunt of York. My name is unimportant. But tonight, I will be your guide. I will take care of you, no matter what happens. You will all be able to hear, you will all be able to see. But before I start, I give you a guarantee. Some of you will scream.
Don't go to spaces.
Especially you.
Especially my dad.
A nervous laugh. Some of you may be moved to tears. And you will wet yourselves. But my guarantee to all of you is that you will never forget tonight for the rest of your life. Don't overact. That's my job. But first, the most important part. The money. It is £6 for adults, £4 for children. Children are under 16 years of age. If there are any old age pensioners, it's £10. Because they walk too slowly. Now, in a moment, I will go to the end of the line. If you have the correct money, come first. If you have £20 notes, you can wait till last. When you have paid me, move along and wait
26.
under the covers beside you. I'm going to go to this end. Hold on.
I've been trying for 19 years.
Okay, the building behind me is haunted by the ghost of a small child. How old are you, child? 6. She was 6 years old when she died in a horrible manner. This used to be the home of a local doctor. He was famous for the parties he would hold down here in his dining rooms. Well, one night, his small daughter had attended one of these parties, but it came to 8 o'clock and she was sent up to her attic bedroom. Well, like all children, she wasn't tired and she didn't want to go to bed. And she must have been leaning over the banister, trying to look at all the fun and excitement below, when her hand slipped and she fell 55 feet down through the stairwell to the basement below, where she broke her poor little neck. Fortunately, there was no damage to the staircase. And I would recommend that all of you enter this building tomorrow. You can go down to the basement where she fell and stare up through the staircase. And you can go to the top. and try leaning over. Now, her ghost has only ever been seen on one occasion, but she is more famous for her poltergeist activity. So every night I come here, I try to evoke her spirit. And I would like all of you to help me. Everyone, without moving your feet, everyone, hold hands. Do it now. Everyone, hold hands.
Oh, that gentleman's out there.
Come on, hold that man's hands. Hold hands, big one. Okay, I will play the part of her father, the doctor. You will be the party. But before I go any further, I would like to just check the hearts of one or two of the people here tonight. You, sir. You don't look at all well. Come and stand here. Beside me. Face the crowd. Check your heart first. I have some bad news. You're dead. Before the night is over. Back in your place. But make sure you're holding hands. Come on. Hold hands, big one, everyone. Because we will try to make contact. Don't touch me. I must warn you, however, on some nights, when I attempt this, the upstairs windows fly open, and these buckets of cold water come falling to the street. Here we go.
Just there.
You're not sure, are you? Here we go. I'm the doctor. You are the party. My daughter, can you hear the laughter, the gaiety? Yeah, look, I'm playing my part. You've got to play yours. This is not the dress rehearsal. Here we go, everyone. My daughter, can you hear the laughter, the gaiety? You lot should get out more often. Okay, this time, everyone, just take one step, only one step away from the wall. You big one can go to the very back. The very back. Because after all, it would not be a party without a drink. But this time, all of you keep completely quiet, and I will try to make contact. But keep your eye on the window above my head. In fact, everyone just shuffle in, shoulder to shoulder. Get onto the road if you can. I can't believe you do it. Here we go. My daughter. My daughter. Did you hear the laughter? Did you hear the gaiety? Oh, please come to the party. Come. Greet them all. Oh, no, hold on. What's wrong? Oh, no, please. Please. Don't fall. Still holding hands. That is a brave crowd. But let me warn you, this night has only just begun. Make a gap, make a gap, make a gap.
What?
I ain't doing it. I refuse.
Oh, yes, you are.
Excuse me, madam. What is your name? Rio. Rio. Excellent. Rio, if you have a bag, leave it with him and come here.
Why was she doing that person?
Stand beside me here. Take a step to the left. Closing the gap. She's not coming back. Rio, I have a gift for you. A gift from the ghost hunt. It's a baby ghost. You'll be needing it shortly. Relax. Okay, our next story is about being buried alive. There have been many recorded accounts of apparent corpses found outside of their coffins with their hands torn to the bone in their attempts to escape from their tombs. Now, one such account is connected to a York graveyard. The gravedigger, hearing that the body of a young woman was to be buried wearing a gold necklace, some gold rings, and a gold bracelet, was determined to have them. So at night, he went back to the graveyard. He dug down to the coffin. He prized open the lid, and quickly he removed the necklace. He slid off the gold ring. But when it came to the bracelet, he found that the catch had broken. And no matter how he tried, he could not remove it. But undeterred, he quickly took out a knife, not dissimilar to the knife I have here tonight. And unbelievably, he began to cut down into the woman's wrist, right down to the bone. Yeah. Is this better than Teletubbies? Well, unfortunately for the gravedigger, the young woman was not dead. She had been buried in a coma, and now the flow of fresh blood made her hand jump back to life. Well, the gravedigger fled in terror and was never seen in York again. The young woman, however, made a complete recovery, and she was restored to her friends and family. Rio, this is your moment. Hold it, Rio. Hold it in 4 and down. Don't wait. Stab it hard. That's good. Give it to me now. Stay there and face the crowd. That's good, Rio. Rio, this
It's your blood.
is for you. It's a souvenir of the ghost hunt. Take it home, put it under your pillow. When you wake up in the morning, it will still be there. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Rio deserves, hold on, a totally over the top round of applause. Okay, don't know. Okay, we're going to move on. But I tell you now, our next story is not a happy story. Like that last one. Our next story is a very sad story. Okay, when we leave this doorstep here tonight, the very first house we walk past will be a tiny stone house. It has a tiny window next to a drain pipe. I will point it out to you when we leave. Now, our next story is once again about the ghost of a small child. Her ghost is often seen at that tiny window. She appears to have tears in her eyes, and she appears to be scratching at the glass. Now, that house has come to be known as the Plague House, and the story goes back to the time of the plague. The family who lived there were naturally scared of catching the plague, and they would stay indoors as much as they possibly could. But they had a small daughter who they would send out to the markets to get provisions. Well, one night, the mother was tucking her small child into bed when she noticed that her daughter had developed large black boils beneath her eyes. She didn't say anything to the child except good night. And she went out of the bedroom, and that night she locked the bedroom door. She went downstairs to her husband, and together they decided that they would leave their home, that they would leave York, and that they would leave behind their only child. And that is what they did. But before they left, they painted a large red cross on the door to warn people that the building was infected. But no doubt, the next day, the small child awoke. She would have gone to her bedroom door, but she would have found it locked. And no doubt, she would have called out for her mother, but there would have been no answer. And surely she came to the tiny window to get the attention of passers-by. And I am sure that many people did see her, but they would also have noticed the red cross on the door, and no one would have dared to enter. So this child, who had been deserted by her own parents, left a prisoner in her own bedroom, was left to die in pain and all alone. She is the most frequently seen ghost in York, often seen up to 10 times a year. Sometimes at day, but more often at night. People see a small child with blonde hair crying and clawing at the window. Now, people go to the front of the house. They knock on the door and they say, "Don't you know there is something the matter with your daughter?" But the people who live there now can only say, "I'm sorry, but we have no children." It's a very sad story. I choose to tell it here out of respect for the people who live in that tiny house now. The people who live here, I hate. So we're going to move away from here shortly, and next tonight we will hear York's most famous ghost story. But there is one more thing I like to do with the group here every night. Everybody, take a very deep breath in. And hold it. And listen. Okay, get the hell out of here. Yeah, just showing you the tiny plague house window next to the drain pipe with the 5 panes of glass. Have a look now, have a look tomorrow, take a photo. You may well be surprised, because after 20 years of the ghost hunt, this has become the most famous window in all of York.
And his next door to is opening a bottle of wine.
Come on in there, fill in the gap, yeah. That's good, keep moving around here. Perfect. Okay, the building behind me is St. William's College, but behind the plague house lies the treasurer's house, and that is claimed to be haunted by a Roman legion. But before I tell you this next story, I will need the help of one of the men here tonight. I need someone quite tall,
Stone, could you shrink
someone
in?
intelligent,
That won't be you then.
and preferably someone good looking. Excuse me, sir. Could you look for someone like that, please? You'll be fine. Your name? Andy. Andy, I've got something for you, and it will be obvious when to use it. I hope. Okay, this story goes back to 1953, when a man by the name of Harry Martindale was working down in the cellar of the treasurer's house. He was a plumber at the time, and halfway up a ladder when he heard what he thought was the sound of a car horn.
Go on then.
Don't mess me about. You'll get another chance. Well, at first, Harry just ignored it. Not surprisingly, really. And he carried on working. But then a moment later, he heard it again. And Andy, this time, it was much, much louder. Excellent. Well, in fact, it was so loud Harry fell off the ladder. As he lay there, he looked up in amazement as out of a brick wall marched a Roman legion. But Harry could see that from their knees downwards, their legs were disappearing into the cellar floor. Well, Harry fled home that day with a dilemma, because Harry had always told people that he would never believe in ghosts. But now, even Harry was telling a couple of his close friends. But his story did not become public until years later, when a group of archaeologists were working down where Harry had been, and they uncovered the remains of a Roman road, located about 18 inches below the cellar floor. When Harry heard this, it jogged his memory of the Romans and their legs disappearing, as though perhaps they were just marching along in their own time. So he came forward, made his story public. It was backed up by his two friends, and Harry became very famous here in York. And he told that story until he retired from the York Police. Yes, not that that gives his story any credibility. But if you met Harry, he would swear to you that on that day he witnessed the ghost of an entire Roman legion. Andy. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Andy deserves a small round of applause. I think possibly that was far too much. Andy, do you have any infectious diseases?
No.
Well, you have now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there is only one more ghost story tonight, but you all appear to be a happy crowd. So I've got a question for you before our final story. Would you people like to have a bit of fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a wild crowd you are. This is all about commitment and participation from every one of you. I'm watching you people in the back row especially. I said, would you people like to have a bit of fun? Yes! Good. Well, on our way to our final story, we will come to a road. On the opposite side of the road, there is an exclusive Italian restaurant. It has a very big glass window. I will line you all up on the pavement. I will stand in front of you. To the people in the restaurant, it will appear I am telling you a ghost story. But you will all be looking at the people in the restaurant. And when you can tell that at least one of them has noticed this strange man in the top hat, you tell me, and I will count to 3. And on the count of 3, everybody here will wave at them. And hopefully 1 or 2 of them will wave back. At which point I will turn around to you. We stop waving. The people in the restaurant will expect we're going to walk off into the night. But they would be wrong. Because a moment later, I will lead you all over to the restaurant window in one straight line. The people at the front will bend down low so the people at the back can see. I will count to 3, and on the count of 3, everybody here will go bear. Are you with me? Yes. Oh, come on, you don't even live here. I said, are you with me? Yes. That's better. Move away from the wall. Has anyone noticed us? Yes. Okay, get ready. On the count of 3, everybody wave at them. Hopefully they'll see the movement. Get ready, hands out your pockets, arms unfolded. Get ready, here we go. 1, 2, 3, now. Oh, top over there. Yay. Okay, that's good. Stop it now. Stop it now. Stupid people are waving back.
I'll choke on his pasta in a minute.
They probably think we're going to walk off, but we're all going to go over there, and everybody, bleh. Now, very important, children, do not touch the window. And Andy, don't lick the glass. But even more important, make sure you come with me. I do not want to be left over there on my own. Ever again. Nobody move till I tell you. When I tell you, walk slowly in a straight line. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Stay there.
He's going to choke on his pasta now. Oh, my car.
Forward, make sure you step over the railing, but don't come forward until you are invited. Rio. My nurse, leave your bag and come forward first. Mind the rail. Right here, Rio, in front of me, facing me. That's good. Right here. Andy, my trumpeter, come forward next. Mind the rail. Right here, Andy, with your back against the wall. Okay, women and children without umbrellas come forward first. Women and children without umbrellas. Beside and behind Rio. Come right up. Don't leave any gaps. Women and children first. Look at me. Don't leave a gap. He's walking in. Come round, madam. Yep. Come on in. Women and children first. Fill in all the gaps. Now all of you, shuffle in. So there's not a gap between you. Go on, get in there. That's good. Now you men, I want you to make a line around the back of these women so there is no escape. Over you come. Umbrellas as well. Everyone. Make a line around the back of these people so there is no escape. All the way round. All the way round. That's good. And now you men, take another big step forward. Go on, get right in there. That's good. Okay, we come to our final story. The area we have just walked through is named Bedder. When they laid the foundations for the new homes here, they dug up the remains of over 40 small children. And the people who live here now, they know that their homes are haunted. Often, in the middle of the night, they hear the screams of small children in pain. Rio, can you scream like a small child on the count of 3?
Oh my goodness.
That sounds more like a bike. Get ready. Get ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Well, that will keep them awake tonight. Well, we do know that in this area there used to be a workhouse, and that by all accounts the workhouse master was an evil man. He took the money given to him to care for the children and spent it on himself. Naturally, many of the children in his care died of starvation, and he would bury their bodies in this ground where you are standing now. But the winters in York could be extremely cold. The ground here would often freeze rock hard. So unable to bury the children, instead he would carry them down to the basement where he would lock them in a cupboard and leave them there to rot and to decay until the spring. But one night he carried down the body of the small boy, placed him in the cupboard. But this boy was not dead, he was merely exhausted due to lack of nourishment. And he woke up and he found himself in this pitch black cupboard amongst all the bones and the flesh of his former friends. Now I want you all to imagine how he must have felt. Everybody, close your eyes. Do it now. And just imagine that you are in this pitch black cupboard. There is the smell of rotten flesh. Maggots start to crawl up your nose, into your ears. They start to force their way in between your lips. And gradually, in the darkness, you stretch out your hands and your arms. Do it now. Stretch them out and start to feel all the rotten body around. Oh, come on, you men, you paid your money. Okay, stop that now. Stop that now. And open your eyes. Well, I said you can stop that now, Rio. Well, I make a joke about it. but it must have been horrific. And naturally, this small child screamed. And he screamed so loud that he woke up all of the other children in the workhouse that night. They were terrified. They didn't know what to do. But that night, they made a big mistake. They woke up the workhouse master. And that night, this man, because of all of the guilt on his mind, he went completely mad. And he stabbed every last child in his care. He was found the next morning down in the basement, staring at the cupboard. He was taken away and hanged. But from that day to this day, the people who live around here often hear the screams of small children in pain, especially at about 8:40 p.m. But not tonight. Not a very happy story to end our ghost hunt, but that is our final story tonight. However, I am sure that we will all meet again. It is my intention to come back and to haunt every one of you. In fact, one of you I'm going to follow home tonight. But for now, I would suggest that we all think about living, not about dying. The night is young. York lies ahead of you. But before we go, everyone just take one step, only one step, away from the wall. Not you though, Andy. And Rio, come and join us. Rio and Andy, face your crowd and get ready for a spontaneous round of applause and uncontrollable cheering. I'll tell you when. But for now, from our cast of 2 strolling players, from our cast of unseen millions, we bid you farewell, and we thank you for your good company. Now! Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to just thank you for your participation on this rather damp night. In fact, I can really say that out of all of the groups I have ever walked around York, you have been the most recent. But have you had a good time?
Yes.
If you have, you must go back to your accommodation and tell them you had a good time on the ghost hunt. 7:30, the Shambles. I'm going to lead you up this road now, back to the Shambles, where we started from. But finally, if you remember nothing else about tonight, just remember this one thing. The railing. So I hate it when the whole crowd falls flat on it.